Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? This is episode 699, which I didn't even know until about 10 minutes ago. I lost track, but this is awesome. And with me, which I'm so excited about this time, I'm geeking out a little bit here, guys. Al Sacco, one of my favorite, not only Twitter followers, people to listen to the podcast. We're going to talk about that. He's all over the place. Al, how are you? And thank you for joining us, man.
John, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me. Same, man. I've been a fan of yours. I like what you do. You know, I respect the people who kind of, you know, they came up on their own, they built their following on their own, and to see what you're doing in the following you've created, you did it. You know, you're awesome, man. So I'm pumped to be here and pumped to talk Niners with you.
Dude, yes, there's because one of my favorite things, like, okay, I know me, I'm a cheesy, you know, I got the rosy cheeks. I'm usually happy. I'm usually very positive. It's just kind of who my nature. But Al brings it all the time, and he's one of the few people that will say, you know what, John, I think you're wrong here. So I want to jump in, and this whole episode's kind of titled State of the 49ers, because we're in this weird limbo. Mm-hmm. So here's my first question to you, Al, before we plug all your stuff. Where do you see the 49ers on this doomsday scale? Are we playoff caliber for sure? Are we just middle of the pack? Should we be worried? Big picture, Al, where do you see the 49ers currently?
Big picture is you never know, because you look at last year at 3-5 and you think it's over, right? They get blown out against the Cardinals and this just isn't going to get any better. And then the next thing you know, you're in the NFC Championship game. And that's kind of been the Kyle Shanahan era, right? Kind of consistently inconsistent. And just when you think you can bury them, you can't. So I don't know. And I am a type of person who is honest. And this is a week-to-week business, right? We react to sort of what we just saw. Big picture, there's still time to change this narrative where they are right now. I think the NFC is weak. I think 9 wins will probably get a playoff spot. I think the Niners should get that easily. So who knows where they are at the end of the year, because they do have enough talent where they can turn it on like that. The frustrating part is, John, are games like last week, like I feel like we've seen too often, is where they can't find that consistency. And the injuries were there. Absolutely. How are you going to compete with 8 guys out of your starting defense? But if they just played good on offense, if they weren't sloppy, if they didn't turn the ball over, if they didn't drop passes, they would have won the game. So that's kind of the frustrating part of it. You have those injuries, and yes, that is a real excuse, but you still kind of should have come out with the game. And that's kind of been the frustrating thing. And I know Kyle's been the hot button topic this week, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But the state of this team is it's talented. The defense, when it's healthy, is I think the best in the league. So it's TBD. Is frustrated as some people are right now. And even if they go into the bye 4-4, even 3-5, it can still turn around because of how talented the team is.
Yeah, 3-5 last year, right, to the NFC Championship. It's weird because I feel like the 49ers play to their competition level, whether it's great or bad. Having said that, I don't think we've really played a good team this year. The Rams, I don't think so. Seattle, I don't think so.
Right.
Like, obviously not the Panthers. Like, maybe the Falcons are the best team the 49ers have played this year. Now this week, all right, now you've got a really good team. Kansas City Chiefs, they're coming in to Santa Clara. And I don't want to ask the question of which team's going to show up, but the way I want to pose this is, if the 49ers play their style with all the injuries, and they're still plentiful, not only will they be able to compete, but do you think they should win if they finally play to their capabilities against this overloaded Chiefs team?
Well, the Chiefs have had some tight games this year, right? You know, they lose to the Colts. There's the Raiders game that they should have lost to the Chargers if Herbert didn't throw the pick in the end zone. So they're kind of going through their own thing, even though, you know, they're 4-2. I guess we don't see it that way. I think the Niners at their best can beat anyone. I do. I think they're that talented, which is why it's so frustrating. But given the state of the defense, especially if Mooney Ward doesn't play, and we're recording this on a Wednesday and he didn't
practice today.
Yeah. So if you're down him and Mosley, that's scary against the Chiefs. That pass rush would really, really have to bring it. And when you have someone like Mahomes, obviously he can still extend plays. And I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to it, but the 3 mobile QBs the Niners played against this year, they lost to. So, when they play somebody stationary, it's different. But somebody like Mahomes who can make plays, extend things without, 3/4 of the secondary there. And maybe Hufanga's got it in concussion protocol, so maybe none of them are going to be there. It's a little bit scary.
Now, okay, so we're talking injuries. I thought I want to play a clip real quick from today's press conference that just concluded. It's 5 seconds. Kyle was asked, because he went through the injury report, which is extensive, but one name wasn't on there, and that was Jason Verrett.
Verrett is not on here, so he's good to go.
All right. Return of Jason, which I love. It's Halloween. It's spooky season. Let's bring it. What do you do with them? Because you concluded last week with, your outside corners were Diamador Lenore and Samuel Womack. Womack got roasted pretty bad. You brought in Dante Johnson as the slot guy. Wasn't great, wasn't bad. Do you stick with those 3 if Charvarius Ward's not going to play, which I'm just assuming for now he's not practicing? What do you do with Verrett? Do you put him at one of those outside corners or the slot? What would you do?
I mean, I guess it depends on how he's looked to them, right? If he's looked pretty close to full speed, if he's looked good in practice, yeah, I would think, obviously we know Verrett would be the best of those guys from what he's done in the past, but we also saw when he came back, was it 2019? The years are getting all blending together to me, but he came back off the foot and he didn't look good. He got roasted there. So you don't know what he looks like. I think if he looks like himself in practice, give it a shot. You could always pull it back if something happens, but my gut would be is that they'll slow play it a little bit and bring him back slowly, but only Kyle knows.
So like slow, that to me, that would say, okay, you're nickel, right? Like you're going to come in, you're going to play 20 to 30 snaps.
Because yeah, I think so. I don't think they're going to run him out there for 70 snaps. I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe they even rotate, who knows, just to get his feet wet a little bit and see how he does. But they need a man, and especially with Mosley out for the season now, if they can get Ward back and Verrett to even 85% of what we know he can be, that can help that secondary to kind of stabilize it again.
Yeah, part of me says if Charvarius Ward plays, I don't think Jason Verrett plays. Because then you've got your 3 guys. You got Ward, you got Demo on the outside. You bring in Samuel Womack at nickel. He's already started games there this year. Now, if Ward can't go, okay, now you're stressing. And I know number 27 is the ultimate duct tape of the Kyle Shanahan, DeMeco Ryans defense, but I don't know if you want that against Patrick Mahomes. It just scares me a little bit. I feel comfortable knowing Jason Verrett's going to play. I don't want him outside yet. Maybe just ease him in, which he started his career at slot. Even at TCU, he started at slot as well. Now, Al, before we go forward anymore, I'm sorry it took me way too long to do this. Please walk us through your No Huddle podcast is by far one of my most listens to. You guys are great. Love what you do at 49ers Web Zone. Plug just a little bit what you got going on so the faithful can follow you wherever that is.
Yeah, we just signed with Odyssey. So we're the official 49ers podcast of Odyssey right now, which is cool. So we've been with them about a month. We're working through that right now. So we're excited. We're on 2 times a week, 49ers Web Zone, No Huddle podcast. If checks out if you haven't yet. I'm on Twitter at AlSacco49. And yeah, we're excited to be with Odyssey. We're excited to see what doors that opens for us. It's can be a roller coaster ride, as doing this stuff and the different opportunities you get and don't get and that sort of thing. So it's a cool opportunity for the show. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. And one of my favorite things is just like celebrating what other people have achieved and what they're doing. And we're so spoiled with 49ers. Like I talked to my buddies who, I was in Atlanta all week for the game and saw my cousin and stuff. He's like, man, there's like, I listen to the radio station. And he's like, there's no Falcons podcast I really like. I know there's good Falcons podcasts, but man, there's so many great 49ers content creators. I don't know how much of that is just like the Silicon Valley, but it's awesome, man. And congratulations you and your team. I know you KNBR, 49ers Web Zone. You have done it all, my friend. So you've covered the gamut, which is impressive.
Thanks. Now I've been really lucky. It's the fan base has supported what I've done, and I just try to be honest. I know that pisses some people off, but it's been great. I couldn't have done it, without people really supporting me and things like that. So I got to thank the fans for anything I've been able to do. But it's been great. Anytime you can do this as a side gig, we love it. To be able to talk about your favorite team is awesome. So
I love it. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to push you a little bit because the trade deadline is approaching. It's November 1st. You got 2 weeks, which it's going to happen right before our bye week. So my question is, what do the 49ers do? Do they buy? Do they sell? Do they just hold and kind of stick with what they got? There are some issues that have been attacked with injuries. So if you're the GM, Al, what is your stance heading into the trading deadline?
I think you always have to be aggressive, and you see what Emmanuel Sanders coming in did for them in 2019. That offense didn't look great, especially the passing offense, and he came in and really changed everything around. The passing offense almost flipped on a dime when he came in. So I think if there's someone like that, it doesn't have to be a Christian McCaffrey type name. I'm on team never pay a running back, by the way, so I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm with you there, man.
But yeah, if there's somebody that they think can come in and make a big difference, I say you do it. I really like, obviously, their big three in their skill positions. I like that they got involved in the Atlanta game. They all had 10 plus targets, Kittle, Debo, and Ayuk. I do like the running backs they have when they're healthy. I mean, at this point, can you ever trust Mitchell to be healthy? We could upgrade at center. Does Brunskill maybe go there at some point? And I'll tell you what, like defensively with the injuries, it's a little bit scary. Maybe they do look for a corner. I don't know. But for them, I think they should be aggressive and look at things. If they can trade a mid-round pick for somebody who can come in and help this season, I think you do that.
And I feel like they've always found bargains, right? Like you got Charles Omenihu, you got Jordan Willis, like you get those types of players. It seems to be a premium position because you got, back-to-back edge rushers and then a wide receiver. So we'll see. If I could do anything, I'd go after a center. I was hoping the Colts would lose. I want Ryan Kelly to play with Kyle Shanahan so bad, but now that they've won back-to-back games, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. But we'll see here. Now, speaking of freebies, because our show number 700 is tomorrow. We're going to be giving away an autographed Kyle Juszczyk jersey, baby. So all you hashtag CCs, that's all you got to do. We're going to be giving this away on the show right after the Chiefs game. So tomorrow's going to be episode 700, but we're going to give this away. We're going to give people more opportunities to enter. Just remember, hashtag CC, the first 90 seconds of any live video we do, that's going to enter you into that. And if you want an extra one, you can head over to our Twitter at JL_Chapman. We've got that going there as well. So like giveaways. Giveaways are always a good thing. So I got a question. This one came from Ian. I put out there that we're having you on, and he wanted this question to be asked. Now, this stat's been floating around for a while. So a little bit of a long question here, but I like it. Kyle Shanahan is 0-26 when trailing by 4 or more points in the fourth quarter. So the question is this. Is it questionable game management? Is it lack of aggression, play call, whatever, just kind of playing conservative football in the fourth? What would you say is the main reason for him being 0-26 in the fourth quarter when trailing by 4 or more points?
Oh man, should I go on my Shanahan rant now, or
hey man, bring it for the people. We brought you because we want you out. So you be out. Don't tape it down for us.
There's a lot of factors that could go into that. It could have been who was playing quarterback, the situations of the game. It's tough to say without really looking at where that came from. Obviously it doesn't look good on the surface. I think with Kyle right now, where I am, John, the notion of him firing him is ridiculous. Saying he's a bad coach, it's ridiculous. None of those things. Where I am with him right now is it's just the inconsistency that is kind of bothering me. And I think when people stick up for him, they say, well, did you see the play design? He's a great play caller. That's great. He's the head coach. He's just not the play caller. He is a CEO. Yeah. He's in charge of everything. So when you see that the Niners have had 42 turnovers in his 87 regular season games, they've started seasons 0-8, 1-7, 8-0 in 2019, but then 4-4, 3-5, and now they're 3-3. So they constantly, other than 19, have started out slowly. Kyle's 42-45 as a head coach in the regular season. Injuries every year. And I'm not saying Kyle's out there hitting people in the knee with a baseball bat. It's not necessarily his fault, but there's something is going on there. The QB drama, 2 years of it now. We still don't know about Trey in year 7. So there's things that are bothersome with me. And if he's consistently dialing up the plays, right? And I don't disagree. People are open. I don't disagree with that. But why are they not hitting these plays over and over and over again? I know he's not dropping the ball. I know he's not throwing the ball if the quarterback's checking down, but is there a disconnect? What is the disconnect if that's happening? And I think a lot of people thought or had said, well, Kyle's an elite coach. He's not. You know what he is? And this is not a knock on him. He's Ron Rivera with the Panthers. If you look at Ron Rivera, okay, if you go in that sort of thing, you know, you're John Fox, Ron Rivera with the Panthers, I'll give you his records. This is him, right? Yeah. 6-10, 7-9, 12-4, 7-8-1, 15-1, 6-10, 11-5, 7-9, 5-7. It's kind of Kyle Shanahan-ish years, right? Like the Niners have had, where he has some real good ones. He went to the Super Bowl. He's had playoff teams. That's sort of what Kyle's been record-wise. Now, this can change as he goes forward. He could win the Super Bowl this year, and then the narrative changes. He can make the playoffs for the next 3 years, 10 plus wins, and then the narrative changes. Absolutely. Cliff Kingsbury can do that. You know, anybody can do it. But I think we thought, or at least maybe I did, because I was a big champion of him. I thought we had like Andy Reid. But, you know, when you look at Andy Reid's first 8 years, 6 out of the 8 years, you're talking 10, 11, 12 wins. That's what I thought it was. And it's not. And that's okay. But I think maybe there was that quality of thinking him as this like elite person. And maybe he's just a decent head coach. And the other thing I want to say about his offense, and I know there's been quarterback issues, but he's been an offensive coordinator or a head coach for 15 years. Okay. This is his 15th season. So he's had 15 chances. He's had a bottom. Niners are currently 19th in points scored. So including this season, 10 of his 15 years have been bottom half of the league in points scored. Like that's kind of a trend. So what's going on here? What's the disconnect? And when you look at the Niners, eventually the excuses have to stop. They have talent everywhere. Why are they not consistently scoring points? So that's kind of it for me. I don't want him fired. I don't think he's a bad coach. He's surrounded himself. Part of being the head coach is being the CEO, right? And he has surrounded himself with excellent people. He's got 2 head coaches and maybe a third going out, and Ryan's already in the league. He's done a great job of that. He's done some really good things. He's made a Super Bowl. He took a team that, you know, was down last year and got to the NFC Championship game. And you could say it was because of the defense. That's fine. He's still the CEO of that. You know what I mean? It's still his thing. But when you're talking about the offense, they have greatly underperformed from what we expected for him. So I think now, and again, it can turn around, but I think now we need to start seeing a little bit more consistency. I want to see them. It's not realistic to say you're going to be in the Super Bowl every year, but I do want to see them in the playoff picture every year. 10-ish wins every year. That's my expectation.
So let me play devil's advocate then and say, okay, what if Kyle realized Jimmy's not the guy, which I think they did make that diagnosis. So they get aggressive. They go get this kid, Trey Lance. Now we're where we are. So do you hold this year? This is kind of a fluke year because you planned everything for Trey Lance. Trey Lance not there now. So do you still hold the accountability the same, even though he doesn't have the quarterback he wants?
Yeah, because it's not like they brought in, I don't know, Andy Dalton or somebody who hadn't been there. And now there's these growing pains. And I know he did change things in the offense, but okay, you have a guy who's been there now for the last 5 years. You should be able to install things or go back to things that you've done, right? And yeah, Kyle really hasn't had a QB for more than 2 years, any place he's been other than Jimmy. And Jimmy's kind of hit a wall. So again, with the development things, is that Kyle's at a little bit of both? I don't know. But I thought this year was a developmental year for Lance. And I thought they were in a situation, John, that no team has ever been in, because they had a Super Bowl ready team and they were playing a quarterback that may have been the greenest quarterback we've ever seen. And what I mean by that is not just a rookie or a second year player. This is a quarterback with like 300 college attempts. Even guys like Roethlisberger or Wilson, who have come into ready to win teams, they had 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 attempts in college. They had started multiple years. The Niners were in uncharted territory here. So I had no idea what to expect. When Jimmy comes back in, now I do know what to expect. This is the team that had made a couple runs, and you know, we knew that there had been issues and people wanted to move on and things like that. But now all of a sudden, I don't think you get the excuse of if you get 8 or 9 wins, we're breaking in a quarterback. No, now you have to, and again, I'm not saying you have to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that, but you better damn well be in the playoff hunt. You better damn well be in the 10 win range when you have your guy who's been there for the last 5 years. You still have Kittle, you still have Debo, you still have Ayuk, you still have Trent Williams. I'm just talking the offense, and certainly the defense is outstanding. But I think you have to do that. The result at some point, no matter what we think of Shanahan, the results have to be there. It's a results-based business.
Yeah. But I want to argue the results are there, right? 2 NFC
Mhm.
championships and a Super Bowl appearance. That's pretty damn good.
It
I don't
is.
feel like, and so I'll say this, and I see some of this in the chat.
Mhm.
Like I talk to people, and I've got people that they call me, and it's the Fire Shanahan crowd, and that's cool. And I want to hear what they have to say and understand. And
Mhm.
I get frustration, but it's just constant context of Tom Sula, Chip Kelly,
Mhm.
Erickson. I remember those things. Now, I also remember Jim Harbaugh, and he's going to be at the Chiefs game this week, which is
Mhm.
awesome. Absolutely love that. But like, I don't know, man. I know what it's like on the other side. And so the question I usually ask is, okay, cool. Let's say Shanahan's gone, which I do not believe in, don't even whatever, but I just play devil's
Right.
advocate. If Shanahan's gone, who the hell do you want? And then they always say, well, Sean Payton. And then I say, like, okay, cool. He has rights under another team. You have to trade for him.
Mhm.
2, he's 20 years older. So that's not a long-term answer. Like, there's bad coaches. Hackett was one of the most pursued
Mhm.
coaches in the NFL this year. Look how that's going.
John, I love our yin. We got like a good yin yang thing
I'm
going
just
on here,
saying.
man.
I'm saying, man.
This
We
is
got
like
this.
this is good. This is good, man. I think we could talk for hours. So, okay, you're right. He made a Super Bowl, and you cannot discount that, right? It was a phenomenal year. Last year, the results were the results. Like they made the NFC Championship game, but they were also like 2 plays away from like 8 and 9.
Yep.
There was some, and it took like honestly, they were a play in Chicago away from I thought the season just being over. And they throw a 2-yard pass behind the line of scrimmage that Debo runs for like 80 yards, changes the season around. But the end results are the end results. That's true. But for me, all I'm saying is I want to see consistency. And here's why. If we look back in 3 or 4 years, and then we may get consistency, we may. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I'm just saying this is what I want. And when we look back in 3 or 4 years, if you and I are talking on the show and we're like, man, we had Warner and Kittle and Williams and all these blue chip guys, Bosa, Armstead, we didn't win anything, right? Are we kind of going to be like, so that's why I want to see them take advantage of this window. Now, in terms of the coaching thing, and again, I cannot stress enough, I want Kyle to stay.
Right.
I want Kyle. I think he can turn it right. I believe in him. I do. I just think we need to hold him accountable at times. But when people say like, who are you going to get? Well, Nick Sirianni's doing really well. Brian Dable's doing really, there are coaches. You have to make the right hire. And I saw someone in the chat, and this is maybe like an age difference type thing. We went through the tire fires with Jed in the past. We don't want to go back there again. Right. But I'm my age. I saw the end of the Montana era. I saw the Young era. Even Mariucci, for me, maybe it's my Yankee fan to me being from New York. I hold the 49ers to a very high standard. And it's just York said it himself. We don't hang NFC Championship banners here, right? We hang Super Bowl banners when the Harbaugh left. So that's my thing too. I'm not okay with being like, oh, hey, they won 10 games and they made an Super Bowl run. No, you are okay. They made a Super Bowl where they could only score 20 points. That's true. That championship was in their grasp. Okay. Last year, there's no reason they shouldn't have won the Super Bowl last year. They only scored 17 points. So you get to 2 games, the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship, where they can't break 20 points and you lose out in a championship. I know when the Niners make the playoffs, they make the NFC Championship, it seems like every year, but that's not normal. Ask a team like the Bills or whatever who are still been chasing it. Like when you get in those opportunities, they got to finish the job. So that's maybe for me, like where I kind of get like, oh, you got to do that. So I understand what people say, like it can be a hell of a lot worse than it can be. But that's not what
That's not enough
for me, and maybe it is for other people. I'm not knocking anybody else.
I love that. I want to say this. Can you, Sin? I love this, and I love this comment from Kalia as well. I want to talk about this from Kali. I just don't want to look back at this talent like I do with Gore, Willis, Bowman, Cap, 100%. With the regrets because we never got it. It's Staley. I throw Staley in there too. Like that hurts, and the thing that hurts even more is Staley was a part of that and this. And so he's been through 2 marriages that almost got there down the aisle. It's not there. So I have another question. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about this one. So I'm going to pose this question. And I did not prep out for this. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to get this answer. And I know you don't want to fire Shanahan. And so I'm not trying to put that on there. However, I want to pursue this conversation because I think you and I are a little bit different with the way we see this. And I love the way you're looking at it. So where would you put Kyle Shanahan in your head coach power rankings off the top of your head currently? So, and the question would be something along these lines. You're starting a franchise from scratch. All 32 coaches are fired. About what range would Kyle Shanahan be in with all 32 coaches currently? Where would you fit them? But before you answer, real quick word from our sponsor. You guys know what it is. It is winning season at MyBookie. As always, if you want to enjoy the football games, 49ers, or just NFL, or really any sport in general, you can bet on anything over there. MyBookie.ag. We've been with them for years. Very trusted site. Get your money in, get your money out easily. And on top of that, all season, double deposit bonus. Whenever you first deposit your money, let's say you deposit $250, you get $500 credited to your account if you just use our promo code 49ERS or scan this QR code right to the side of me if you're watching this on YouTube. And again, it just sets you up completely. MyBookie is incredible. Bet with us. We're on Patreon. We share our bets every single week, all season long. So join us, mybookie.ag, promo code 49ers. Bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
John, I think that's a great question. You want to go team by team?
Let's play, baby. I'm excited about
baby.
this.
I like this. Awesome. Let's go. All right, let's start in our division then. McVay.
Okay. And I want your answers. Okay.
Just my answers.
We'll just do both. We'll do both.
Okay.
McVay,
I would take McVay.
I would take McVay as well. Not with that GM though. I hate I want to build for the future and now. So I'll take him.
So we'll keep Lynch. We're just if we would insert another coach.
We got this.
Pete Carroll.
No.
Oh, I think Pete Carroll's 110% a better coach than Shanahan.
He's the oldest coach in the NFL.
Oh, you're saying I'm just saying for right now, are you a better coach right now? I would take Carroll.
Okay. All right. That's two. Let's see. Kingsbury?
Absolutely not.
All right. I don't know who the coach is in Carolina. Matt Rule's gone. We're just going to go no there. All right. Dennis Allen.
Nope.
Let's see. Arthur Smith just beat us.
I mean, I guess you don't know what he is yet, but I still would say no. I would still rather have Kyle.
All right. Let's go Tampa Bay. Bowles.
I'd take Kyle.
Yeah. Metallica frontman for Detroit Lions.
I'd rather hang out with Dan Campbell, but I'll take Kyle.
If I get in a fight, I'm taking Campbell. Chicago. Yeah. Eberflus.
Again, it's a TBD. You don't know, but right now I'd rather have Kyle, obviously. Some of these guys we're not going to know because they just started their careers, but
LaFleur?
Yeah, no, I'm not a believer.
Ooh.
Not a believer.
All right.
Again, I don't think he's had a good record, but let's see what he does without the Aaron Rodgers thing. And this year's kind of looking like they're probably just as frustrated as we are. So I think I'd take Kyle over LaFleur.
Okay. O'Connell, which I kind of like him, but I'm still going to stick with.
Got to, because we don't know what O'Connell is yet, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like these first-year guys are going to be tough to say. Kind of not applicable.
Yeah, it's tough.
Right?
It's tough. All right, here we go. Washington. You compared him to Rivera, sorry, not Riviera.
Yeah, I would still take Kyle. I would still take Kyle over Rivera. I mean, what Rivera's doing in Washington, it's not going very well. I just think the results were similar when he was in Carolina. But
okay, what about big man McCarthy?
I'd take Kyle.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Sirianni.
So this is interesting. I really like what he's doing there.
I like how he changed everything after that first month. Comes out first month, trash. I was like, all right, this dude's going to get fired before the season's over. Switched his entire everything. He changed it all. Now they cook it with grease, man.
And I like what Hurts has become. You know what? Again, time will tell, but right now I will go Sirianni.
All right, that's 3. Okay.
I know that's probably a little questionable, but
all right, McDermott. Let's go AFC East, Buffalo.
We've got Dable, but I would again.
I did.
Can't judge off 1 year. It goes in that non-applicable category. I feel
he's doing a hell of a job. You went with Daniel Jones. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, Buffalo, McDermott.
Oh my God. This is almost what happened last year in the playoffs with the Bills, because my wife is from Buffalo and the Bills are kind of like a second team in this house. What they did coaching wise at the end of that game was just a punch in the gut. Awful. Can I push with them? I love the program he's built there, though.
We're at 3.5.
I'm pissed at Kyle this week, so I'm going to go McDermott this week.
Okay, there we go. We got 4.
I may change that next week, but I'm pissed at Kyle this week. So
I don't bother. Robert Saleh.
I still have to say Kyle. I don't think we know.
Same.
With him, yeah.
Belichick.
Obviously, we're going Bill there.
That's 5. What
Yep.
about the boy wonder, Miami, McDaniel? I love the dude.
We love McDaniel, but a couple of those Dolphins wins they kind of pulled out of their ass. I don't know if I can swear on here. Sorry, they kind of pulled out of their rear ends.
We're 30 minutes in. We'll be
at
all
this
right.
point. It's whatever. Bleep it. So obviously, again, he's not applicable because he just started. But I still think long term we got to see what he is. I don't know yet, but
All right.
Shanahan's still there.
What about Harbaugh too?
Definitely Harbaugh.
Definitely Harbaugh. Cincinnati. Ooh, Zach Taylor.
I need to see more from him. He might fly. He might be sort of a Kyle Shanahan when it's all said and done, right? In terms of results, what we're talking about, maybe close but no cigar. But I'll still go Kyle.
Okay, so we're still there. Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin.
Tomlin all day.
Tomlin is my favorite coach in the NFL. If I was rebuilding a franchise, he would be my very first pick. Number 1.
Hall of Fame coach.
Incredible. All right, let's go Stefanski.
No, I do like him. I think he's got some other factors happening in Cleveland sometimes, but I still would probably go Kyle there.
I would too. Coach of the year 2 years ago, though. Coach of the year this year, Mike Vrabel.
Man,
that's close. That's a push for me.
That is. That's a kind of a push for me too. If it's a push, I'll put him down. But I agree with you. It's a push because I think he does a lot with the little there.
I agree.
He's a real good coach. Yeah. So
Frank Reich.
No, very frustrating. My dad's a Colts fan. He's frustrated. Reich again can change that narrative right now, but some of the Colts don't show up in a lot of games, and I would go Kyle there too.
All right, Jacksonville. What are we doing with the visor, Peterson?
With Doug Peterson again, kind of Kyle Shanahan-ish, right? He did win the Super Bowl. Oh man, can I put Kyle ahead of a coach who has a Super Bowl, John?
I would in this situation personally, but I mean, Jacksonville's 2-4. That's good for them, I guess.
They've won 2 games. I'll go Shanahan here, but I would have to think a little bit.
Lovie Smith.
No.
Andy Reid.
100% Andy Reid.
100% Andy Reid. Brandon Staley.
I feel awful for Chargers fans. So a lot of times you say like your coach can lose a game for you. He literally loses games for their teams, like literally.
Repeatedly.
I didn't pay much attention to the Chargers, and I can tell you 3 games he's lost for them. Yeah, no, stop coaching.
Not good. And then we got Hackett, who I don't know how that's going to go.
Is he going to make it past November? Poor guy. He comes into this. He thinks he's got Russell Wilson, and it just ends up being a poor guy. I kind of want to give him a hug, but other than that, I feel bad. Almost feel bad for him. Almost.
It's like he bought a timeshare. That's like how bad it was.
It's so bad. Good poor guy. When you get that job and you think I'm walking into this defense and I got Russell Wilson, I'm going to fall into 10 wins, and it's been a train wreck.
All right, Josh McDaniels, last one.
Fraud.
Yes.
Fraud.
Yes.
No. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have Kyle 10, but maybe 8 to 10-ish because there was people I was like, eh. So he's a top 10 coach.
Kyle would be 6 for me. I had him at 6.
It's fair. It's fair. And who'd you have ahead of him, just out of curiosity?
So as far as coaches now, I had McVay. I had McDermott. I had Tomlin, Belichick. I'm missing one.
Harbaugh and Reid.
Harbaugh.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was 6 for me.
Okay.
So
you haven't had Andy Reid?
Oh yeah, so 7. He's 7 for me.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
And I think that's fair. And I think you can make. Well, I think again, if we're talking, I know Pete Carroll's probably got a couple of years, but I think body of work Carroll for me it's not even comparable. So I think best case scenario he's 8, which is fine. That's not a bad thing. They're the 8th best coach in the league.
No, it's not. And that's the thing. Like, I don't think you replace the 8th best coach in the league because he has so much upside. He's got youth. If he figures a couple things out, then watch out. Because I think that he's got it. But I think that this provides a good bracket conversation, which really wasn't where I thought we were going to go with this, but I think it was healthy because I don't want you to be in the fire Shanahan crowd, but I also don't want you to be in the Shanahan's an offensive genius and we've never seen anything like him. No, that's not it. He's a quality coach that's in the top third of the league that has room to grow. And I think that's okay. Is he Bill Walsh? No. Is he George Seifert? No. Is he Mariucci? Okay. Is he Harbaugh? All right. I think he can be. Yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at.
I think where you run into too, John, a couple things is one, sometimes you just get to a point with the coach when they hit about the 10-year mark. It happened with Reed in Philly for as successful as he was. You just kind of run your time, right? It's just kind of over. So if they are spinning their wheels for a few more years, you could see people calling for new blood if it doesn't happen. But again, if he gets that championship, it changes absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. The big thing is, though, this Trey thing, I think it's got to work for him. Next year is a huge year. I thought this year was a huge year for the development. Next year is going to be the same thing. He's definitely got to, get that QB in there. But then on the flip side, if he never has a QB and they keep winning 10 games every year, it just stays that way.
Oh boy. It's never going to end the drama. That.
It never does. It's part of being a Niner fan. It never does.
And like people I'll get emails that say like, oh, I bet you're so happy about this. And I'm like, no, I'm not the drama guy. That's not really what I'm selling.
You're the positive guy. That's why I think we're a good yin and yang to each other.
It's stressing me out, man.
You're all positive, and I'm like, maybe it's against the New Yorker in me or whatever, where I'm just like, it's all.
You got to have that battle, that clash, man. So, all right, Al, I'm going to have to bounce here soon. So I want you to plug your stuff. I've got my son's football game here in a little bit, which I have to credit Al. We scheduled this show. We had to bump it up because they rescheduled my son's game. Al was gracious enough with his time to change the schedule last minute. So thank you. Al, one more time, where can we find your stuff if we don't already follow you? And if you're not following this guy, what the hell's wrong with you? Support this man. Al, where can we support your show?
49ers Web Zone, No Huddle Podcast. We're now part of Odyssey. You can get us wherever you find podcasts. We do have a YouTube station now that we kind of just started. We'll do the shows on there. It's just 49ers Web Zone on YouTube. And you can follow me on Twitter at AlSacco49.
Freaking love it, man. Well, Al, I've got to pay the bills a little bit more. I got a couple more giveaways I got to promote, but just want to say thank you so much for your time. I'm going to have to get you back on more often, my friend.
100%. You got to come on our show too, man. This is great. It was a great conversation. So we'd love to have you.
I love it. Thank you, Al. Appreciate you, man.
Buddy. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right. Now, before we jump out of here today, I do have another giveaway because that's just kind of what we do here. And I wanted to plug this today. This is on our Instagram, and this is for the ladies. I don't do enough of this, and I met one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, couples, and here we go. I'm so excited about this because it combines two of my favorite things. One, 49ers giveaways, and two, women who support the 49ers and go to their games. So we're partnering up with Custom Jean Jax on Instagram. Again, that's Custom Jean JAX on Instagram. I met Kelly and her husband in Chicago. We partied together. We had an incredible time. It was absolutely awesome. And she makes these custom jean jackets that just freaking show out. Absolutely love these things. Look incredible. She does all the work herself, all custom. So it's going to be unlike anybody else that's out there. And the amount of attention that she got while we were traveling with the 49ers partying was absolutely incredible. So here's what you got to do if you want to win this for free. Head over to our Instagram. All you got to do is just follow us, 49ers Rush Podcast on Instagram, and her Custom Jean Jax. Again, that's Custom Jean JAX on Instagram. Like the post that's on our account. You're going to see this video just like this, and tag up to 4 people. You tag every person you tag, you get an entry. We're going to be giving away this jacket Monday. Now, if you want to purchase one of these jackets, they start at $175. You get 10% off if you just tell them you're coming from the 49ers Rush Road Trip. So plus they give an additional 10% of every single jacket sell to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is very important to them. I'm not making anything on this, and I don't want to. I believe in these people. I believe in this couple. I believe in this product. So if you want to win this, again, head over to our Instagram, 49ers Rush Podcast, like this, tag up to 4 people, and then we'll be giving away on Monday. And if nothing else, man, if you know somebody in the faithful that would be interested in one of these, man, let them know. Tag them. Let's spread the wealth. Let's help people out. And let's get these custom products into the right hands. Appreciate Kelly. Appreciate all she does for the faithful. And, man, we love giving stuff away. All right, so we got not only one giveaway in the Kyle Juszczyk jersey, we got another one. So the Kyle Juszczyk jersey we're giving away Sunday after the game. The custom jean jacket we're giving away Monday. A lot of stuff. Episode tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We're going to be live with Brian as we are. That's episode number 700. Also want to put this out there. We have our Patreon only live show with 49ers Cutback at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's the schedule we got going on. Just giving away stuff like crazy, which makes me so happy. And I love that the generosity of others continues to come through. Makes me so happy. Love this community. So thank you, Clayton, man behind the scene. Crushed it this episode. Love it. Until next time, stay strong, faithful. Maybe not.